Hi guys, welcome back. Anyone that's new, welcome. Right, the bowl I've done where I was demonstrating with my grinds and stuff like that. I decided I'm going to finish it off. Okay, so that's all this is about. I'm just going to finish the bowl off. But to do it, because I want to go do the outside again, I'm going to have to remount it on my chuck. So what I've decided I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little ridge in here because I've got plenty of meat to take away yet. So I'm going to put a little recess in there, so I can then put it on my other jaws and mount it up. Okay, so I can then finish the bottom because I want to put a bigger recess on that bottom. I don't like that little thing for a finish on it. I just done this the other day just to show you, and then I want to show you how I cope with that end grain, torn grain, any torn grain. There's hardly anything there actually. You can hardly notice it now. I think where it's been left for a couple of days, it's grain where it sort of lifts up that little bit is settled down. So I haven't sanded it or anything. You see I didn't do any sanding or anything on that. So right, okay, so I've mounted it back in my chuck. Everything's still turning as it was. It's still true, still all good. Right, so I'm going to put it on these jaws over here on my chuck. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just mark it up first and put a little, I'm going to just put another little light on, so more for me to see rather than you to see. That helps me a little bit. Right, that helps me a little bit, so I can just see in there. Right, I've got my calipers set at the jaws I've got over there, so that's what I'm going to do first, is put a little mark on the inside. Okay, so that's going to catch me. Bit far overhanging, so I'm going to maybe have to take a measurement, I think. Right, what I'm going to do, probably a little bit unorthodox, but right, in a bit from there, out a bit from there, so just about there. Right, that'll do. I can't put them in because they're overhanging too far, so it's got to jump. And I don't want to catch. Right, okay. Use my parting tool. Come in, I just want to put a little right. Like that. I'm going to put my little dovetail tool to just put that little bit in there. That's all that took, that little bit, that's it. Right, I can stop that now. Ain't got to be pretty or anything like that, it's just to mount up. Alright. So I'll quickly take these jaws off. And what I'm going to do, because they're going inside, I can put these jaws on, see, and then I can open these up into that recess. Alright, let me see. Yep. Yep, I've got that, that's fine. Right, I should bring the tailstock up just for starters. Like I say, if I can get a bit of support, I will. I'm going to use a ring centre on this one because I don't want to overmark it. There we go, that's all I'm doing. I'm not putting it on tight, and I think right now, I don't know if you see, I've still got that little bit of, there's just a tiny bit of torn grain on here. Okay, there's really not a lot there, but now I've gone with a nice sharp gouge. Well, my spindle gouge I went round, as you see. I haven't touched it since any of that, it came off. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give it a quick go with a little bit of sandpaper. Very quick go. Sorry, I don't want that, I want that. That's it. Right, I'll turn my back on. what I'm going to do is give it a very quick, like that, that's it. All I wanted to do was sort of see if I can raise the grain a little bit. Yeah, I've still got a little bit there. Right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bit of sanding sealer on it. Now, like I say, this is just what I do if I get a bit of trouble. If I get trouble with torn grain, this is just what I do. Because I'm not going to go to 80 grit paper. I don't believe in sanding it out. I believe in taking it out with your tools. Right. Okay, and we'll give that a second. I might as well put a bit on the bottom. It's not going to do it no harm. I'm going to give that a second to dry in there. And what that will do, for you that are experienced too, you've got your ways of doing it. You know what this does. But for new turners, right, what your sanding sealer will do is it will harden that grain a little bit. Okay, it will make it stand up a little bit more, and it will harden it. Then when I take a pass, I'll probably get a better cut. That's what it should do. But I won't accept it and just sand it out. You know, I see too much of that. Sand it out, sand it out, sand it out. And it's not acceptable, not in my mind. If you're happy doing it, well, that's fine. That's up to you. But I never started that way. It was always you got to have a good tool presentation, because that weren't available. You didn't have cordless drills and that when I first started. And when they did first come out, he was lucky if you could put a screw all the way in without the battery going flat. And power drills, hook and loop, sandpaper wasn't there. You didn't have it. So, like I say, I mean, I've done angle grinder carving. I've done that in the past, and I mean, you could take some sanding disc, 36 grit paper, and you could put this bit of wood on here, and you could actually shape that, and I'd get that bowl shape from a square piece of wood with a 36 grit paper on an angle grinder. Would that make me a wood turner? No, it wouldn't. Okay, what makes your wood turn is your tools. Have a bit of pride in what you do. I know people say, well, when you're selling it, the person buying it, they don't care how you finished it. They might not, but you should. You should care how you finished it. Have a bit of pride in what you do. Right, okay, so that's waffle over. That's getting there. That's dry enough. Right, so now what I've got, I've resharpened my. I'm going for exactly the same as I used. I'm going for my spindle gouge. Okay, it's exactly the same one I used yesterday, and I'm going to take a pass with my spindle gouge again. I'm going to come in. I'm going to come along, and I'm going to take a shear cut. Okay, and see how that will give me a finish on there. If it'll be good enough to give a little sand and then finish it. I want that shape. I don't want to. Sorry.
I might come round to come and do that.
Okay. Yep. I don't want to. Well, you're going to be over. Yeah, you might see it.
Yeah.
I don't want to change that shape any. I quite like the shape I've got there, so I want to try and keep that. So right, okay. So I'll start her up. Right, I'm just over 2,000 RPM. Right, now like I said yesterday, I come in, and with this it's just a slice. Roll the tool, pick up the cut. Now I'm on the bevel and I can feel I'm getting a bit of bounce. So that's not going to give me a clean finish. So I'm going to stop at that. So I'm going to do again. I'm going to cut up there. And I'm going to carry it on. I can feel this. See that bounce? Now this is smooth, perfectly smooth. I'm getting that bounce. That's telling me that's the grain causing that. Right, there's that bounce. Right, and there's a bit of bounce here as well. Now the bounce is all gone. So that, because I've got the bounce there, there and the bounce there told me that's the grain causing that. Now I can feel there's a bit of a bump there. So, like I said, I'm going to bring my tool rest down a bit. Reposition that. Right, and I'm going to drop my handle. I'm going to come for a shear cut. With a shear cut, I don't get no bouncing, see? Right, I can feel there's a very slight bump there. You can't see it, but I can feel it. There. That's it. Little passes until it's gone. That's gone now. Right. Now, I want to just get that bottom rolled again. Right, that's that bottom rolled. I want to bring that round. Gently bring the shear cut out. There you go. We're getting these. Right, don't you want your angel's hair? That's it. Right, let's stop and have a look and see whether that cleaned that grain up. Right. Tiny little bit there, but nothing to write home about. Yeah, I'd accept that. Yeah, I'll accept that. That's all right. I've got no tool marks, no pumps, no bumps, no nothing. Right, I'm going to bring that over a little bit, and we're going to just do a very quick sand on this. Now, I'm just going to use some hand paper to do this. And this is just my sandpaper. It's a 180 grit. Right, like that. So what I need to do with that. Right, now I'm going to put a bit of sanding sealer on it. Look at that. Turn that off. Now, when I put my sanding sealer on, I like to do it with my lathe turning, but I turn it off and I do it as it's winding down. If you get what I mean. So right, I'll stop it. And then I'll put it on as it's winding down, and that way it coats it round a bit better. Now I'll just go round. It's just how I do it, just the ways I've found I do it over the years, what I like to do. Right, that's going to pop that little bit of grain up there. And then I should denib this. Nice patterning on this wood. Right, okay. Let that go. Right. So we'll bring this back over. Get ready. Right, okay. Got some shavings. Look at that. Take off that, and I'll just go back again with a little bit on the sandpaper. From the 180 and let it wear down. I'm doing that because stopping that any dust coming back up at me. Right. put that on there and I'm going to sand it and burnish it at the same time. Look at that. Oh, what a finish. Right. You see this edge here. That's all alright. I'm going to widen that up in a minute. I'm actually going to widen that up. Oh, I didn't turn that on, did I? Right, okay, so now yeah, I'll be doing some sanding paste on that in a minute. Right, now I want to take this away. So I want to open this this up for my other jaws. Right, so I've got my little stick. So like I said, for those jaws, that's the outside and inside, okay? Now, that's the outside for the bigger jaws and the inside for these, it's the outside for these jaws and the inside for those jaws. And this is the inside for these jaws, if I'm making a recess. So, I've just come up, and there you go. That's my mark. So that's what I'm going to take it out to now. Right, use my tool. That's that. I'll use my feeding parting tool. Come across and take this off again. Try and get rid of that dibble now. What I'm going to have to do to get rid of that, because I probably went in a little bit too hard with my centre, as well as come across here. And take one back this way. So we've got the little dibble there. Got to get rid of that little hole. Right, well, it's nearly gone. That's it. I didn't realise that hole was as deep as that. Right, okay, so now I've got to come in and take some of this away because I can feel there's a bump in there. That's it. Right, that'll do me. I'll put a few lines back in there. Okay. Just quickly grab this and make sure that's clean in there. That is. That's that. Right, now I'm going to take this down a little bit because I've got a bit too much there. And what I want to do with that is I just want to come in and transfer it. Like that. So it's just got a slight dip in, so it's going to sit on this outside rim here. That's it. Take away a bit. Right, okay. We'll turn this on this time, see if it works better that way. Now I like this paper, guys. It's not everyone's cup of tea, the way I sound, but that is for me, not for you. This is 180 grit. This is a 180 grit paper, okay? But once I do a little bit of sanding, it just seems to reduce in its grit. And I get the equivalent here of doing like a 320 grit with this paper. This is Syrex, 1960 Syrex. That's what that one's called. And it works brilliant. It's the only paper I use. I've tried all the others, don't like them. This paper works fantastic for me. I can stand at speed with it. It lasts for ages as well. You can flick it all off, but you'll get your 180s there, but you can feel how it just reduces in its grip. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but it works for me. And that's all that matters. As long as it works for me, it works for me.
You just show me the inside of it again.
Right.
You showed it in.
That's the one I use.
Yeah,
Okay, because people have asked what my paper is, so there you go, that's what it is. Right, okay, I'm going to get a bit of sanding paste on this. I wasn't too mindful to oil this actually, but
I think the paste is better.
yeah, I think the paste is better.
It shines it, but it still makes it look like natural wood still, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't like high gloss. High gloss shines on wood. I love wood. Wood's got such a natural. It's a bit like me, really. It's just got natural beauty. That's what.
Yes, darling.
Right, that's broken down nicely. Still see it moving a little bit there, so just keep going for a minute. Right, okay, I'm bored with that. That's enough of that. Get a bit of distance out. Take the excess off. Right, okay, now put a bit of wax on. Get it soften up a little bit. There we go. Now it shines. This one puts a nice shine on. Right. Okay, I'll stop that and have a look and see what I've got. Right, as you see there guys, no No torn grain. No tool marks. No nothing. Just like me, natural beauty. There we go. You shut up laughing. Trying to be serious here. Right, there we go. So now I can turn that round, remount that, and get the inside finished.
We're on 25.5
We're on
minutes.
25. Oh, I'm going to stop that, guys. If you want to see the... That's how I've remounted it. That's all I've done to remount. Just put a recess in there. Mounted it on. Managed to return it. Bit of sanding sealer to pop the grain up. And then gave it another nice cut. And as you can see, that finished there. There's no torn grain whatsoever. There's no tool marks. Because I've done hardly any. So there's no... Because I didn't go to any high grits. There's no sanding marks either. Okay? There's no sanding marks on it. Because I didn't go to a high grit paper. I start off, like I say, it starts off 180 and it wears down quite nice actually, and then it wears down to the equivalent of about 320 grit, that if I measure it to the 320 grit papers. And I find it's brilliant. I can start sanding at that. I'll go through it and it just wears down. Then I'll just throw that away and get a new bit. And that's it. But there you go, and that's the finished kit. There's not a scratch or a sanding mark or anything on that. There's absolutely nothing. Okay. There you go. And the tool marks, there's nothing. There was no need for 80 grits because there's no tool marks. There's no torn grain. We got rid of everything. Okay. By presenting the tools and using the tools right and getting the cut. If you're getting that little bit of bounce, then it's not going to cut. It's not going to work with your bevel. Doesn't always work to have your bevel going. And if you're getting a shiny line behind your cut, that means you're rubbing your bevel too hard. Okay, you shouldn't get no shine from your bevel. You shouldn't be burnishing the wood as you're going. You should just be cutting it. Okay, should just float the bevel across. You don't. It looks good when it shines as your bevel runs over it, but that's rubbing. You don't want that because then you have to raise the grain back up to get anything to go into it. So I had a little fly then. Right, okay. I'll see you on the next one, guys. If you want to see me hollow it and finish the inside, join me on part 2. Toodle pip.
Bye, guys.